Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Small Biz Chat Podcast Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, your host. And if you're watching us on my Small Biz Lady YouTube channel or on my Small Biz Lady Facebook page, please give us a like. Please share. Please let people know all of this great information. And if you are listening to us on your favorite, where you like to listen to podcasts, please consider giving us a helpful review. Now, if you don't like our show, don't bother. But if you do, we want to make sure that you tell lots of people about us because we have been doing this 5 years, you guys. And so we're really excited to have more and more people find out about the Small Biz Chat podcast. Now it's time for me to introduce my guest. We're going to be talking about market positioning. And we have one of the top experts on that here with us. Her name is Debbie Allen, and she is a market positioning expert with decades of business experience as a business consultant. Debbie works one-on-one and in small groups to naturally gauge where businesses are and have a need for expansion, increased sales, or faster growth with her innovative expert positioning. She's authored 10 best-selling books, including High Paid Expert, Success is Easy, and Expert Positioning. For more information, you can go to expertmarketpositioning.com. Debbie, welcome to the Small Biz Chat podcast.
Well, thrilled to be here, Melissa. I love small business. That's how I started my career 20 some years ago.
Yeah,
Just
no.
wanting to help them,
Small business is the backbone of America, so everyone needs to be paying attention. So tell us, Debbie, a little bit about you. What inspired you to become an expert positioning, an expert in positioning, market positioning?
Well, I've always loved marketing. So I built and sold multiple businesses. And one that I did for 15 years was building and selling women's clothing stores. So I know from brick and mortar, small business. And then when I was finished that part of my chapter of my life, I was like, I want to help people be successful because I had mentors that took me from my first year in business was $100,000 to 2.5 million in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so without their help, I could never have done it. I've never gone to college. I never even applied for a job. I've been J-O-B, I have to spell it. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19 years old, bought into my family business. So all I think is that. But I have had like these professors, I call my professors, all these people that were very successful in business that taught me how to go fast. And so it just made logical sense. Like I want to help people be successful. I didn't know anything about the speaking business 27 years ago. You know what it's like getting into the speaking business. So I was just like, I was at this big trade show and it's like, oh, I can speak here and I can help them. And that's really how I launched my speaking business, got into retail and then did keynotes and then did a 3-year world tour. And then I had to reinvent myself completely when I came back from that tour. And I'm like, I'm not just a marketing expert anymore. I'm not just a speaker. I'm an expert who happens to speak and be a consultant. So what is that word, that title? And that's always the hardest thing for people to kind of where to position themselves even at their title. And I went, I'm sharing my life's work, and my life's work is a highly paid expert. I've been highly paid to share my knowledge, and then I transfer that onto other people, find out what their brilliance is, what they're absolutely great at, and how they, who their ideal target market is, and then go out and position them to get those clients and get a lot of money, make a lot of money because of how you positioned yourself.
Sure. So tell me, how do you define expert positioning and why is it so critical?
As simple as I could say, it'd be like the best of the best. Like if you owned a retail store, you'd be the best retail store that specialized in whatever that was, right? Or if you were a speaker, you specialized in this topic. Or if you're a coach, you specialize in this topic. So you have to pick a lane and then you be the best in that lane. So you have had a lot of experience in what you're sharing, way more than the average person. So when you step up to that expert world, everything changes around you because once you've stepped into that world, it becomes bigger than you. It's like you can't stop because you're there to help so many people as that level. And I think there's a mindset about that because expert's a big word. You have to be ready to step into that. And I think a lot of people think, oh, I could just call myself an expert and then kind of wing it till I figure it out. And that's not the case. You have to come in with a body of knowledge, really know your brilliance and be able to not only have that brilliance, but be able to transfer that onto other people. And that's a skill as well.
Well, it's interesting. I think that the pandemic invented all of these experts, right?
Yes, yes.
They're all out on Instagram screaming that they are experts. Anyway, but the rest of us, the real ones, we're out here on LinkedIn with a body of work for somebody to go look up. But anyway, so let's talk about the first steps that someone should take to help them identify their area, their zone of genius or their area of expertise.
Well, I'm going to give you a good example of, just even a couple of calls this morning that I had with people that heard me on a webinar and then set up a call with me. So one guy, he's from South Africa, and he's like, I'm really stuck. I almost feel like I have imposter syndrome. And I was like, okay, when somebody says that to me, I'm like, okay, you got to clear up this mindset, because if you don't believe in what you're doing, you're definitely got to clear that up before you move to the next level. That's stopping you. It's putting all the barriers. And from that, it wasn't even him. I said, there's no reason for you to feel that way. The reason you're getting a block in income and opportunity is because of your marketing. Because I read, what he had. He had this 18 years experience in the hospitality industry, and he's going, I don't know who to market to. I'm like, the hospitality industry, it in and out, their problems, and you are their solution. Like, that is so easy to understand in the way I looked at it. But he was frustrated because he had really poor marketing. He's not an expert. Just because you're an expert in something doesn't mean you're good at marketing and sales. And as you know, is that everybody needs marketing and sales and in business. But I just help them pull that piece out. They bring their brilliance, and then we team up and say, how do we put that together in a word and a messaging that everybody can, your ideal client can figure that out. And their ideal client is somebody that can pay them. It
Right,
might not be the passion, you might be following the passion in a nonprofit and there's no money there. So
right,
you
right.
gotta have both things.
Yeah, your ideal client is definitely someone who can pay you. Now, what role does content creation you think help define people as experts?
I mean, it's really everything, because when you should be able to introduce yourself with your business name and what you do in a matter of seconds. Like your business name, your unique selling proposition, which is like 5 to 15 words that give the outcome of the delivery. Like, what is the ROI? What is the return on investment that you can deliver? And how long does that take, right? It's like, say what that is, and then in your messaging, of course, who your ideal target market is, and then your case studies that have proven that as well. And then your system, process, or formula to help people get there. That's really the true expert. But anybody in any world, whether they're helping other people and coaching them, they can also be an expert at, the best pizza place, the best clothing store, the best everything. You kind of have to really own something. Like, what can you really own that's yours that nobody can take from you? You'll have these imposters that are trying to take it. And when you're good, people try and grab your stuff. But when you're the best and you're known as the best and you own that, they're never going to take that. And then if everybody's taking it, like online, a lot of people are grabbing people's ideas. Okay, it's time to reinvent. I have reinvented so many times in my business because people think, oh, okay, they're grabbing my ideas. I'm already 10 steps ahead of them because
Sure.
I see another vision of what needs to be happening. And you can do that in any business. If you're an expert in what you've been doing, you can see the steps. Like I sold my clothing stores because I saw that, small boutiques were going to be in trouble. There was becoming the Jurassic Park of our retail future. I saw that coming. I was in the heyday of that. I knew when to sell. I knew when to go into the next opportunities. And I think that's a true entrepreneur. So a true entrepreneur, a small business owner that thinks like an entrepreneur, that can really own their brilliance, and then people know them for that. And they become like one of nobody. Like, it's like, I don't care if it's the best cinnamon rolls. Like, there's a place down the street that's got the best cinnamon rolls ever. And my husband keeps coming home with all these different cinnamon rolls from everybody that makes cinnamon rolls. There's the best. No, it's the place down the street. I don't know why you're getting cinnamon rolls anywhere else. If I'm going to put those calories in, it's going to be the best. And they've got it honed in. So it's the same with anything you do.
Sure. I know a lot of times when people walk up to me or people, book time on my calendar, they're like, I want to be a speaker. I want to be an author, and I want to know, what advice do you give people that are just trying to start out, that are just trying to build up their build up their ability to charge people to speak? What advice would you give?
I think you're probably hearing that, Melinda, because they want to be you, because they want to be you, because you make it look easy. But look at all the years and experience you've had, right? You don't just switch they don't see how you had to climb your way up there and work really hard to get there. Now success looks easy. The thing is, you have to do the due diligence, and you have to admit, these are my weak areas. I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at whatever that is. And I'm too close to my own business to see where my blocks are. And I need help. That's the number one thing. I've worked with so many coaches and mentors over the years. I've done the personal development along with the business development. And that's why I can be, kind of the visionary consultant that I am. But it took me years to get there, right? So the first step is that foundation that we talked about, is building that foundation. What is your niche? What is your brilliance? What is that area that you can help people with? And then how are you going to own that space? That's always the most important, because if you don't get the foundation right to begin with, it doesn't matter what other words are on your website or what your programs are. Once you nail it from the beginning and you pick that lane and you stay in that lane, it's almost like a niche within a niche that you're really good at. And an example of that too is, like, I have other things that I teach besides expert positioning, but that's always the first foundation for everybody, because the majority of small businesses are stuck not making the kind of money they want to make because they created a job for themselves. They're working too hard. They wouldn't even work for somebody else, getting paid what they pay themselves, and they wouldn't work that many hours working for somebody else. So they've created a job. And so I think one of the first things too, if you have a business where you have a small business, you're not making the kind of money you want, you need to look at your business completely differently. What things am I doing that aren't making me money? And focus on being the leader of your business, the expert of your business, and run it from that leadership perspective.
Well, I know one of the things that I had to realize when I first became a speaker, and I became a speaker back in 2007. So let's get in our time machine and go back,
Right, we're about there, yeah.
16 years or so. But one of the things I think people have to make a distinction of is there's a difference between being a speaker and understanding the speaking business. And I think that for me, I knew business. I didn't know the speaking business. And one of the first things that I had to learn was how to sell from the platform, which was something I knew how to speak. I could tell great stories. I can make people laugh, but I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to get a line in the back of the room. And so that was something that I had to invest in with coaching. And I, became a member of the National Speakers Association, the whole bit. And I think that those are things that people don't understand. They think standing up in front of people and getting applause is the game. And
if they're thinking that way, it's very self-focused versus what are you doing for the outcome. And the thing about the speaking business, I love NSA. I've been a member 27 years myself. But the thing is, it's not a sustainable business as a one income stream. It's a one-trick pony. And that's why I teach people to position themselves as an expert and then create multiple income streams around that. So what other income streams could you create around the work that you're doing? Because when the speaking industry dries up, and it's happened a couple times when we've both been in business, the financial crisis took a huge hit, and it was a good 5 years to turn that around. That's when I did the international tour. I went, hey, there's no business here. I was at the highest paid speaking fee I was ever at, and then it just crashed and burned. And then the pandemic hit, and then people went online, and then now online is getting overly saturated. We're hungry for live events. But the thing about, again, you really hit on there, the business of speaking, is looking at it like, how can I use the skill of speaking to make a lot of money in a lot of different ways? Could be an online course, could be, one-on-one consulting with people, depending what your business is, right? But other ways, because I had to crash and burn myself and go through the pain before I realized this is what I need to teach other people.
Sure.
Because the kind of clients I'm getting as speakers now are the speakers that are very successful. They're already making $500,000 a year, and they're road warriors, and they come to me and say, Deb, I can't be a road warrior. I can't be a one-trick pony anymore. I need to find other ways to make money with the skill of speaking.
Yeah, and I'm the opposite from a lot of people, because when I first started speaking, I was a single parent of a young child. So I couldn't be on the road 40, 50, 60 days a year. So I learned how to make as much money from my living room as I possibly could. I became the best webinar presenter you could ever find back in the day before online was the thing. And that really propelled me, even with a lot of corporate brands. So, speaking was never the largest part of my business. I do it, but when people see me live, it's a treat because I don't do it a lot,
Mhm.
so and that can
That's the
can
key.
boost your value in the marketplace as well.
That's the key to the speaking business, what you just said. You're absolutely brilliant. You started with the right way to do it. People think they want to get on the keynote stage. I've been on some of the biggest keynote stages because I went from association work like training to go keynote stage, and I got exactly what I wanted and thousands of people. And then I would go to my hotel room and go, I feel really lonely. I hope that message stuck. I was only with them for an hour, right? I like that deep dive where you see people change and grow and actually grow small businesses. So you're very smart to figure that out early on. I wasn't that smart. It took me a little while in a financial crisis.
Well, you know what? I mean, I had to do what I had to do because I had a little boy, right? He's now
Mhm.
finally 19. So I'm free to move about the country, but I don't have to. So there's that.
Exactly. You don't have to. Awesome.
But listen, when we come back, I want to talk to you more about the biggest mistakes that people make when they start to position themselves as an expert. Hey there, you are watching the Small Biz Chat podcast live, and we will be right back. Are you tired of feeling stuck in your business because your sales are not clicking? Well, it's not your fault. No one ever taught you how to sell the right way. Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and in my Sales Accelerator Bootcamp, I teach experts, coaches, and consultants my proven system, and I'm going to help you attract the right clients, confidently sell without feeling pushy, and follow up and close more deals. Listen, this is not theory. I am going to teach you real actionable techniques that have helped hundreds of business owners increase their revenues and finally feel confident in their sales process. Look, seats are limited, and if you're one of the first to apply, you're going to save $1,000 on my program. Listen, do not miss this opportunity. Apply now. Head over to smallbizladyuniversity.com so that you can sign up today. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Small Biz Chat podcast. I'm talking with my guest, Debbie Allen, and we're talking about expert positioning. All right, Deb, let's talk about what are the biggest mistakes you see folks make when they're just getting started positioning themselves as an expert brand.
They try and get cheap. So they're trying to do the DIY. I'll just do it myself. I'll create my own website, my own marketing. Even though I don't know marketing, I'll throw something out there. Then I'll go make some money and then I might hire a consultant. So in the meantime, they've positioned themselves ineffectively, which actually hurt their credibility and their value. And now they got to rebuild and completely relaunch. And so, here's the number one thing. This is a business. I don't care what kind of small business you're in. First and foremost, it's a business. When I built my business from day one, it was I'm going to build it to sell it. An entrepreneur thinks two ways: build to sell or build to magnify. And you got to be thinking that way. You're not creating a job for yourself. You're building a business that you can sell and move on to the next chapter. And if somebody takes your business and they destroy it, that's up to them. But you do the best that you can do to get there. And the thing is, you have to invest in business. And every time as I was building, I didn't go from $100,000 to $2.5 million in 2 years without continually reinvesting. So reinvesting, and then be smart about your reinvesting. So when you're reinvesting with a coach or consultant to help you move to the next level, make sure you've done your homework on that person, that their case studies are real, and understand very clearly what is the ROI, what is the return on investment I'm going to get, and how long is it going to take me to get that investment back. And then it's a great investment that will move the needle and move you to making more money and getting a better business.
Yeah, and I would just piggyback on that as well. If the expert that you want to hire is only big on one social media platform, be concerned about that. You need to see their expertise lots of places in lots of different ways. Otherwise, they may be only one step ahead of you. And I see a lot of people hiring people that have not been when they're trying to go, but they're flashier about what their business has been able to create for them in terms of their lifestyle. So people are hiring people because of that. But I did a solo podcast years ago called Beware of New Business Barbie. She's dangerous, right? So I just want to put that out there. But let's say you do have limited resources. What are some of the low cost strategies that people can implement and as they're getting set to start, positioning themselves as an expert?
Well, there's so much education online right now with all the webinars and finding those experts that you really, I want to work with this person, but maybe I can't afford that yet. Join their email list, join all their online classes, even join Small Business Development Center, get a free consultant in SBA. If you have to start there, they're not going to go deep dive with you, but at least they'll give you some start. But find those really, there's worldwide experts here on the web. It's like we don't have to go to the library anymore. They're all right in front of us. Melinda, how you started many years ago. They're right here. Follow them and then say, hey, I want to get to the place where I can work with that person and go deep dive. But in the meantime, just do a lot of self-training and starting to implement. We've never been in a position where we've had so much education at our fingertips and so many experts that are online at every type of level you can imagine. So it's right there. Like when we started our business, Linda, we didn't have that. We didn't have the access to all the education we have now. It's the absolute perfect time to be really positioning yourself and go deeper without having to, start out spending a lot of money. Find out who you like, study them and follow them a while. Sometimes people follow me. Gentleman I talked to this morning, from South Africa. He said, I've been following you for 3 years. I'm like, oh, I felt there was a stalker there. But people sometimes follow me for years before they actually take action and do something, because it could be their mental state, it could be their financial state, it could be a lot of things.
Sure. No, I agree with you. I mean, I think when we got started, the only thing that was out there was YouTube. And that was it. It wasn't all this other stuff. But it's interesting. There's so much stuff out here now. People have to be careful about whose advice they take. And so I ask you to make sure that you are Googling people, make sure that you see multiple places where they have been quoted, interviewed, have they written a book, have they hit major media? Like those are clues that these people are legit and can really help you. Because there's a lot of really good salespeople out here that can't really help you.
Can I add one more thing to that, Melinda?
Sure.
So, here's where people are. When sometimes you get people that have the money and ready to go. And so they haven't really been in the right circle. So they'll go out to an event somewhere and then they'll have somebody speaking on, you need to write a book to be an expert. And then they go and hire somebody. And this is a new client that just signed up with me this week. She invested $100,000 in a publicist to write her book and get her media. And she has absolutely no income from clients yet, hasn't got out speaking, nothing. And she's not getting the results, because it's like, that's a cart before the horse. You don't write the book before you figured out what your expertise is. And then the book is a marketing tool. So it's going to have all of those, income streams that they're selling in the back. So, she even said to me, she's like, well, I got to wait to work with you because I got to finish my book. And I'm like, no. We got to start making you some money.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes they go to these conferences and hear speakers, they just get all excited. Like, this is my answer. And then they're deep in the woods and they've made so much investment. They think, oh gosh, I got to finish this.
Yeah, no, it's like washing without soap, right? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, so people have to make sure that they have a strategy. The publicist is actually hired last, 3 months before the book is about to come out. You don't hire the publicist to help you write the book.
Right, you get it. I mean, we could hang out and talk about business all day. It's love it when people get it. No wonder you're following Melinda. She's smart. Like, she gets it. That's another piece of you're hearing right here. Pay attention. You got to take the right steps in the right order, and you got to put money in the right order. Otherwise, it's going to take you that much longer to get to where you want to go.
Exactly. And unfortunately, there's a lot of snake oils folks out here in this business. All right, Debbie, last question for you. What is the best piece of business advice that you have ever been given?
It's got to be focused, staying focused. So, it's like, once you pick the lane and you own that lane, stay focused. When I talk about multiple income streams, it's like, you don't start 5 income streams in one day and different things. They're all that fit into that same business. They're not different things. And so I learned that really growing up in a family business, because my dad would start a new business every 6 months and then throw it in my lap to run. And I learned a lot from that, but I also learned that the things that he focused on The car rental business and the mini storage business, they blew up. They were very, very successful. But all these other things that he just went on a whim, I'll just do this, they all failed. So it was always like I learned, like I got to focus and I got to get really good at something and master it. And then I can add something else, the mastery level.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Debbie. I think if someone is serious about becoming an expert, you are an amazing resource. And when we come back, we're going to talk about AI, but from a different angle. We're going to talk about how to get the best prompt results in AI. You're watching the Small Biz Chat podcast, and we will be right back.
Are you ready to turn your dreams of entrepreneurship into a reality? Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and I want to invite you to check out smallbizladyacademy.com. We're here to help you every step of the way with our comprehensive training programs and expert resources. You'll learn how to start and grow a successful business that aligns with your passions and your goals. From business systems to sales strategies, we cover it all. Plus, our supportive community of fellow women business owners is here to cheer you on and provide guidance when you need it. Don't wait any longer to pursue your dreams. Join smallbizladyacademy.com today. We build businesses and we help you build the life you've always wanted.